Hey, happy Thursday, good people. Hope your week has been going well. Michael, have you been having a good week?
I have.
That's good, man. Anything exciting happening?
Yeah, I spoke with the writer on that I told you about, and
Yeah.
that was a good experience. And he read the pilot and he liked it. So
Good stuff, man.
yeah, things are good.
Our guest today is an amazing human being. His name is Derek Mears, and he has been an actor for over 20 years, has over like 100 credits, and he recently was on The Flash, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and ORVILLE, to name a few. He was just on a pilot, and he has some secret projects in the works. This is probably one of the most decent human beings you'll ever meet in your life. And I'm so excited he's back on the show. He was on my previous podcast, Actors Anonymous. And just as a friendly reminder for you guys, our show here on Adobe lasts for an hour. However, the full episode can be downloaded on iTunes Podcast or watched on YouTube. So we go way over an hour for the full conversation, and it's very nutritious in terms of intellectual and spiritual and entertaining value. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give it up for Derek Mears. Mr. Derek Mears.
All right, I like that. I was like, did somebody do that for you? Did you do that yourself? I like that intro.
It's my brother.
Really?
Yeah.
I dig that music. Or I should say, dig that jam. Yeah.
Dude, it's been a few years actually since we've seen each other.
Yeah, man. We keep playing phone tag and keeping up with each other, but physically, it's been a while.
Yeah, and we're both busy, and you live in way north.
Yeah.
of me.
Magic Mountain Town.
Magic Mountain Town. Valencia still, right?
Yeah. Valencia, yeah.
It's actually nice.
I like it there because the days that you're not working, you don't have to drive down to the studios. That there's parking spots. Some people smile at you. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's a normal place to live.
It's been voted safest city in the U.S. multiple times, my
What?
friend. Yeah,
Nice.
Well, dude, it's all like industry people, cops, and firemen. So I'm like, oh, it makes sense.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, weird.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, the one thing I do not care about the city is there's a nickname for it now, which is like a published nickname. It's called Awesome Town. I'm like, what are you? Come on, what?
That's interesting.
Who came up with that and why?
The mayor.
It's like someone's mom. This is just so awesome. Guys, I've got a proposal. We're going to name it Awesome Town, right? Who's with me? It's so hip with the kids.
Have you ever been to one of those like council, what are they called? The city council meetings or whatever?
No, that would take effort.
I know, right?
What?
I've seen some pretty funny ones. I think there's kind of staged. There's some people who show up and they'll play like this bro character, and they want like more public drinking and more stuff like that.
Would you say bro or broke?
Bro.
Okay.
Bro. Like,
Okay. I'm like, oh man.
yeah, they'll play like, like these frat guy characters who want to have like more open container laws and stuff like that. And I was like, these are kind
Did they video it?
Yeah, it's all like a lot of them are publicly like recorded video wise so that people can watch and see what new laws are being passed or yeah.
I got an idea.
There's an apartment building being built right across the street from me, and it's almost done, mind you. And then they just now had the meeting saying, "Are you okay with this building being built?"
Did it already?
It's almost done.
Sit on that and be like, no, I am not. Perhaps a fee will loosen up my interest in.
That's what happened to the Target in Hollywood.
Yeah.
What, really?
Yeah.
It's like a shell.
What?
Like a Target was supposed to be there on Hollywood and Sunset.
Just east of the 101, you mean?
Or Hollywood and Western, I meant.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
So people said no to it, and they didn't.
The Hollywood homeowners association, they're like, no, it's an eyesore, and even though it's a literal eyesore now.
That just brings up a lot of visuals. Just the title of Hollywood Homeowners Association.
Right.
Like
some characters come up.
Yeah, right. That'd be amazing.
Oh, that could be a good improv scene.
Holy cow.
Maybe for your next show.
Maybe something like this.
How long have you been doing your improv show? Because you're for our listeners, You've been a working actor for a long time.
Yeah, geez, like it was weird. Like I think over like 20 years, I think. Like I did an interview recently, and they started the interview. They're like, "So, Derek, you've done over 100 and some blah blah different TV and film projects." And I literally pulled my cell phone up and went, "What? Am I that old?" Like, I did. Okay, that's cool. I'm like literally IMDb myself, going, "Oh yeah, I did. Check that out. All right, cool."
Isn't that pretty cool though?
Oh, dude, I'm always like, it's such a crazy business that we're in. Like, if it ends right now, I'm like, thank you, universe. It's been an amazing run because like. Man, you're just constantly chipping away and trying to. The other analogy I use, like you're trying to climb a mountain, and like you're always focused on up and like that next handhold and like pulling to the next level.
Right.
And every now and then you stop and kind of like look down, or I personally do, and went, oh, I have no other skill sets. Like I would die in I think like 7 words a minute. Like I got to keep going. So yeah, I've been.
I'm sure you do fine, but you get to play some amazing characters too. You don't just have like a regular, I would call it a regular acting career if there is such a thing as a regular acting career, but the characters you play are so extreme is the right word.
That's nice. That's extreme. It can be in being different, or extreme of like, yeah, I have like either super nice or super violent and horrible.
Or like your character on Orville, would you like you had like you do a lot of makeup stuff and like prosthetics usually with your work,
yeah,
right?
It's funny because like my reps and in general tease me because they're like, dude, like you're a professional actor, like why do you do the makeup stuff? I go, guys, I'm a professional nerd. I go, like I love doing it because I'm like, don't remember me, remember the characters. Like my job is to tell stories. Like it's not an ego thing. So it's so crazy, man.
That's why I loved whenever you were on my previous podcast, Actors Anonymous, and you talked about like your character for Michael. Oh my gosh, what's his name? The Halloween.
Friday the 13th.
Friday the 13th. Jason. Sorry, Jason.
Yeah,
Jason.
Same, whatever. Jason ripped
You got
off
there
Michael
eventually.
anyway. So.
I got there eventually. No, the amount of character work you did for him, and you were describing it on the show, and I was like, see, that makes me so happy.
Oh,
you
thanks,
just don't put on all this stuff and expect that to do the work for you. You're still coming from a real place. You're doing all the acting work that goes with it. And that's why you've probably been working for so long as you have, man.
I don't know, man. I don't know why. It's kind of a weird thing. The phone keeps ringing, and I get to go where and work on what? Are you kidding me? Like, so yeah, just.
We were just talking about how we have how we're so lucky to be in a position where we're able to live off acting and do this amazing, incredible job and have these amazing experiences, and then we have friends who are even more talented than us sometimes, and like they're not working, and it hurts me so much to see them not working.
That's what I mean, to the point of my career now. Like I'm lucky that I'm established. I wanna produce, but not in the sense of like, I'm not worried about making money or that. But I just want to be able to control to go, hey, I know so many different artists and different mediums, but the joy it would bring me to be able to put the right people in the right place, and also kind of give people who have been working their asses off to have that spotlight to go like, hey man, like. All I want you to do, don't worry about your rent. You come in and be you, and that's you'll be taken care of for a while. That to me, to create that kind of safe, like circling the wagons and going, you're safe here. Just create, man.
Dude, that is an amazing thing you bring up. No joke. I'm just started this book. Oh, dude, this is trippy. You know how the universe brings like
absolutely.
common themes together in your life? Culture Code. Have you ever read this?
No, I haven't.
It's by Daniel Coyle. Culture Code, and the secrets of highly successful groups.
Oh.
And so he's like basically tried to study a bunch of different groups and try to figure out, hey, why are certain groups successful and certain groups aren't? And it starts off by he talks about this experiment they did where they gave these certain groups of people uncooked spaghetti, a marshmallow, some tape, and string, and they're like, create the tallest structure you can.
Awesome.
And they had a group of CEOs, they had a group of engineers, they had a group of businessmen and women, and then businessmen and women, and then they also had a group of kindergartners. And you would not believe, like the statistics, like something like ridiculous, like 9 times out of 10, the kindergartners built the highest structure.
Phenomenal.
But you want to know by how many inches? It was something like they built it to like 23 or 24 inches. The next group down were CEOs of huge companies, and they only got to like 21 inches. And then the lowest group was like the most organized and structured group were like the business people, the businessmen and women.
Huh.
The engineers didn't get that high either.
Yeah. Why do you think that is?
It explains it in the book, and it explains like certain key elements. Like, I mean, I have it like literally highlighted.
I'm assuming it has something to do with like with your boundaries, where you learn your boundaries or whatever if you're studying. But then if you don't have those boundaries, it's at the outside of the box, going like there is no limit.
Kind of.
Okay.
It does deal with boundaries, though.
Mm-hmm.
Check this out. The actions of the kindergartners appear disorganized on the surface because when you saw the different groups, how they were trying to figure this out, they would be like, the business people would be like, okay, let's see what items we have. Okay, they would all take turns talking, and they would all like not talk over each other. They were kind of just trying out different ideas, and then when they decided on the plan, they implemented it as a group, and it seemed cohesive. Mm-hmm. But then the kindergartners, on the other hand, were talking over each other. They were just trying to build it as high as they can. Like, it looked so disorganized, right? Yeah. It looked chaotic. So I'm going to just read this little section. The actions of the kindergartners appear disorganized on the surface, but when you view them as a single entity, their behavior is efficient and effective. They are not competing for status. They stand shoulder to shoulder and work energetically together. They move quickly, spotting problems and offering help. They experiment, take risks, and notice outcomes, which guides them toward effective solutions. The kindergartners succeed not because they are smarter, but because they work together in a smarter way.
It sounds a lot like improv.
Right?
Full circle.
Right?
That's what. It's funny because I didn't answer your question before about the improv group. I've been doing improv professionally since I was 17.
Yes.
The current group with I do a show called The Resistance here in Los Angeles, where we improvise an action adventure movie live, and we have stunt pads on stage. We'll do full improvised fights. We have a guy who scores it live. Like, it's a cuckoo crazy event because we use the audience and have them play along. But the one thing I talk about with the group, or when we go out and talk with schools, or we teach story structure to like colleges or to high schools, is I always talk about that as a group, a performance group. I go, this is kind of like a romantic relationship. So no matter what we decide to do moving forward for the group, it's a democracy. We all vote on it, but also we all see improv in a different way. And so when you do that, when if you're all going to the same school, the same mindset, I feel it kind of limits you. So if you have one person has this completely 180 degree to a guy over here, but there's still that respect between the two of them, you have a much broader base to draw from and to work together as a team. Because there's been moments where it's like, hey, some of us don't agree with what you're doing or completely understand, but we know you're talented, so we're not going to say no, being that the majority said yes to move forward on whatever decision or a project, or if we're writing or something outside of the improv. But the cool thing is it's so creative and supportive, going like, you know what, keep going, like maybe we'll figure it out, like we're still on board because we trust you guys, even though personally the ego, we can't see it or don't understand it. And eventually either we do or we don't, but the whole thing is, it's not for the individual ego, it's about the team. That like when we're doing the actual show, like if everyone, the basketball analogy I like to use is that if we're on the court, anybody on the team can shoot the ha-ha basket from anywhere on the field. Or on the court field. I mean, guys, sports are great. Stupid. But the art is when you're going down the court is doing the no look passes and then knowing where your teammate is and going, if the guy's hot that night, I will feed him, set him up left and right to slam dunk that comedy, because the overall thing is not about all of our ego. It's about that audience having the most amazing time possible, and they're also contributing. So you back off going like, dude, like whatever's best for the whole. Let's do that because we all enjoy it and we're all still a part of that team. So you're not like, oh, I'm the funniest or that. I go, oh, no, I don't give two poops about that.
Right.
But it's all about the audience. Like whatever you're going in, if you're starting the show and you're in a bad mood or something bad happening, you got to ditch that at the door and to just sort of, because our job is to alleviate that pressure from people. The reason we call it the resistance also is that everyone's so worried about being rich or successful, their social media numbers, or being beautiful, or all the kind of BS pressures in the world,
right,
where it's like the purpose of this is going, hey man, like when we were kids, it's okay to be a kid. You didn't think much. Like going, come back and don't worry about being an adult. Come be a child and play with us. We don't know what's going to happen, and that's kind of the excitement of it. We're on a high wire because nothing is written, but you're a part of this, and we're all going to do it like symbiotically together. And that rapport you have with when you have that mission statement with the audience, people go, oh. they automatically, it's kind of like a save the cat moment in writing, like right off the bat in a live show, where they drop their guard and go like, oh, you don't have an ego. We're gonna figure. Oh, I'm a part of this. Like, all right, and so you all bond together, and it's just the most fun. Like, if I could do that the rest of my life, this crazy show, and survive, like I would do it because I love it so much.
It's about community, and it's about something else that you mentioned also, safety.
Absolutely.
You feel safe with this
Absolutely.
group. You know what I mean? And by the way, I've seen the show live, and it's freaking incredible.
Oh, thank you, brother.
No joke. Like, this was a while ago, and I saw it, and I was like, is this scripted? And I knew it was improv, but I'm like, this has to be scripted. There's no way this is not scripted.
Oh, that makes
That's
me
how
happy.
good it is.
Thank you.
It talks about safety in the first chapter. A lot of these groups, you seek safety with other people, and it's like this deep primal wiring that we have whenever we were in our monkey groups is like, are we safe with this person? Is this person going to continue to be safe? Is there a good foundation to hang around with this person? If there is, great. If there's not, I have to stay away from them. And that's what we seek when we want that tribe.
Oh, no, absolutely. You talk about tribe. Like,
Yeah.
In my opinion, like I've read books on tribe, and like in my acting class, like they break down with Sam Christensen Studios is the reason I freaking have a career, which is actually right down the street from you here, which is
nice.
amazing. But he takes the teachings of Joseph Campbell, who's the godfather of mythology, and Carl Jung, and mixes them together. So with TV and film, we're telling modern myths. So you learn about like yourself and what you're giving. So it's not just I'm an actor, I can play anything. Oh, you don't know what you're selling. Like you don't understand what your archetype is. Like an example, like they talk about like John Travolta.
Right.
His archetype is lovable loser. Anytime he plays a lovable loser, like Welcome Back, Kotter, Pulp Fiction.
Sorry, just make sure you stay in the sweet spot right here.
Sorry,
Yeah. No, it's all good. It's all good, brother. These are sensitive.
Saturday Night Fever, we're as an audience, we're all on board going, this is amazing, this guy's dynamite. But when he leaves that archetype, it doesn't work. Where I'm the battle general from an alien starship, you're like, nope, it doesn't work because he doesn't have that essence. We don't believe him. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So the whole thing about this tribe and trust. So as a tribe, we want to fit in with other people because like that means safety, and that means we get to survive. So if people go, this whole thing about kids wanting to like on social media and fit in and be accepted, it's a human quality because we all want to. Because back in the day, when you're in a tribe, if you don't fit in, you're going to die, or you go against the tribe, you're gone. So people are afraid and terrified. They want that safety to go, oh, you all agree with me? Okay, cool. I'm fine. Like, my job's not at risk. That means I don't have to like go back and fight a bear by myself. Well, but the bear comes in, I have a giant tribe, my odds are way better for survival. So it's a wild thing.
And no, it's all good. It's all good. Feel free to adjust it.
There you go.
Way better.
It takes a while to find your tribe, I think. And again, it mentions this in the book. It's there's this saying that says, somebody from Texas says, any jackass can kick down a barn, but it takes a skilled carpenter to build one.
Beautiful.
So, it takes a while to build trust, with people, and a good friendship is like a slow simmer. I feel like, you know what I mean? Like a big crock pot, and you keep adding little things in. It's on a low heat.
I'm so happy to be the vegetable in your crock pot. The friend crock pot. Thanks, buddy.
But yeah, man, I think it's very important. And when people don't have that solid tribe,
Oh yeah,
life can be difficult, especially if things aren't going your way.
that's the one thing. Like if I were to go today, the one thing that I cherish most is the tribe that I've surrounded myself with of good people. It's just I'm floored by when you need somebody to step up and come in and like whatever your deficiency is that time, like whatever you're going through, and have someone help out. Like that was another huge thing on myself personally, because growing up, my father was very manly, kind of cowboy essence. Loved John Wayne, that like, oh, you hold your emotions in. But then as an adult male, I learned, wait a second, I studied a lot about emotional literacy and going, oh man, I can still express to you that you've hurt my feelings, and I could cry, and it doesn't make me any less of a man. If things get sour, like, yeah, I could still knock you out in the same sentence, which I would never, ever, I'm not that tough guy. I don't want to come off that way. But you still have that going. And I feel like a lot of young men, like especially with TV and film, like you're taught to win. It's you versus them, like survival of the fittest. Going, man, it's not us versus them. Like we're all in us. Like it's just a different version of each other. And go, if we work together, everybody can get what they want. You know, to an extreme. So it's not like, you know, to the extreme with someone hurting somebody else or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I learned that when this helps me so much to go, hey man, like that hurt my feelings. Let's discuss this and use our words to figure out why, rather than like, what'd you say? Like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get that guy back. You'll see. Like it's just gonna perpetuate the conflict. There's no reason to.
It's so much stronger to be able to communicate. You know, what makes you vulnerable, especially with people you love. I feel like, you know, something that's happened recently with my family is this crisis, and he's okay. He's not paralyzed or anything, but my dad broke his spine 2 months ago,
so
and he's on the road to rehab. Thank you, but he's getting better. Everything's going good. And what's been great is we've really gotten stronger as our family unit, and we're able to communicate much better now than before.
That is absolutely beautiful. I had this like spark. I got like adrenaline rush. I learned the same similar thing. Like when I was going through this horrible divorce, I would always that was the first time where I kind of showed vulnerability to friends or whatever.
Yeah.
And I learned that the more vulnerability that I showed, more friends would come forward and go, hey man, like nobody knows it, but this happened to me, and they'd open up. So I went, wait a second. The more vulnerable you are, it's that crazy risk. But when you do, you bring somebody else has experience because they're a human, and you have a deeper, more enriching relationship now.
Right.
And it makes me so happy to hear that from your family.
Thanks, brother. I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah.
Not the spinal, Andrew. I'm like, oh my God, so excited. That's great.
But you know what? Sometimes, you know, in order for great change to happen, something has to shift. Something,
for sure.
You know, uncomfortable has to happen.
Oh, yeah.
It could have been much worse, but we're thankful for where we're at, especially. But I think a common insecurity that a lot of people have, and it's so funny how we go into this really horrible negative space in our heads when we think about something where like we feel like if we're vulnerable, if we really truly and honestly express what's hurting us to somebody that we care about, or somebody maybe that we don't know that well, maybe they're going to go, what are you, a loser? Like, and 99.999% of people will never do that, you know? And in fact, usually the opposite will happen. People will empathize, right?
Absolutely.
Empathize with you and open up to you like, you know, your friends did. And it's a really interesting experience. This human experience is a trip, man.
So much of it, man, is just how you look at it, really. Like I've talked about before where if a friend, the advice I always give, or I use it myself, but when friends are dealing with different conflicts, like no matter what it is, I try to use the analogy that you're the hero in your own life movie or your own life story. And whatever conflict you're currently dealing with, as long as you apply yourself, you're going to survive. It might not be the way that you think it is, but the whole question is like, who are you going to be for the audience that's watching you? And that audience is your friends, your family, yourself. And so, like an example, if Indiana Jones, if there was no conflict for Indiana Jones to go straight from the beginning of the movie on Raiders of the Lost Ark to go straight to the Ark, and I got the Ark, why are we watching it? There's no reason to watch it. So realize that whatever current situation you're in, that you can get out of it. It's gonna be okay.
Right.
But realize also, after you get past that giant boulder, there's gonna be Nazis. There's gonna be snakes. There's gonna be sequels. There's something else coming, because if you're like, every time something happens, going, I didn't expect this. But if you embrace it to go like, oh, this is an opportunity for growth or for change, how am I going to apply myself? 'Cause I remember going back to my crazy divorce before, there were some parts where it's like, oh, Derek just got kicked straight in the nuts. Like, oh, how's he going to get up from this? Like, what kind of character do you want to be? Do you want to like delve into like, you know, vices and like be the boiled poet, poor me? Or are you going to go, oh, this is how I want to, the character that I want to be is like, you know what? You guys decided to do something horrible. Like, I have nothing to do with this. Like, you guys have a great time, and like, this is the way it is. And I learned because of that attitude, like, especially with that divorce, like, I feel like the universe saved me going, wait, I didn't realize I was in such a bad position. And also you talk about tribe and go, I don't surround myself with this type of people that do these certain things, you know? And I went, oh my God. And so I feel in a flip side, which could have been viewed as something extremely horrible, that the universe actually saved me in a sense, going like, hey, like this isn't good for you, and now I'm in the best relationship I've ever been in my life. But at the time I thought it was like the worst thing, going, this is, oh no, it was just so bad. But it opened up, like you said, something has to die. It's like birth and death, the dichotomy between the two. Something has to die for something to grow or to start again anew. And I'm in a great place, and I'm so happy but I didn't realize it when I'm in the thick of things.
Of course not. I mean, whenever you're in like that initial shock of whatever traumatic experience happened, it's hard to think clearly. It's not easy.
Oh, dude. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No. I was just gonna say it's not easy, and a lot of people don't know how to handle that chaotic feeling. I always parallel it to, and obviously it's not the same thing, but there's a parallel to soldiers, whenever they're like in a gunfight, and there's bullets going over their head. Why do you think they go through that intense training? Navy SEALs, or where there's real bullets flying over your head, so you kind of know what to expect with the sounds, the explosions, the smoke, the conditioning to it. So each one of these obstacles that you're facing in your life, I truly believe it's making you stronger for the next obstacle that's going to come. Because in life, there's always going to be obstacles. There's always going to be problems. There's always going to be unexpected things. There's always going to be, quote unquote, bad luck. And again, like you said before, it's about your perspective. How do you approach these problems? Do you smile when they come to you? Do you go, woe is me? The only thing you have control over is the way you think and the way you feel about it. I truly 100% believe that. I truly believe there's this great strength in everybody. I really do, man.
I'm with you 100%.
And it's sad to me. I hate when I see people don't see that light in them, that fire in them. I truly want. I've been blessed with so much good in my life, and I truly just want to share that goodness with everybody. And it hasn't been easy. It's not. I'm not saying I had an easy life, but I've learned so much out of my struggles. And so I want to make sure that people who are stuck in those holes, they realize, no, you can get out of it.
Yeah.
I truly believe God doesn't give you more than you can handle. That's just something I believe, something I was taught a long time ago. And it's for me, you can say the universe or whatever, because it wouldn't be fair to give you more than you could handle.
Yeah, absolutely.
Why would God test you with something knowing that this is above your limits?
And also, I think it's so lovely that you have this podcast in general, that like you're sharing your experience, and it's not like a preaching like this is how you should live your life, but it's like, hey man, like this has worked for me. Like I have nothing to gain or lose, like whatever you're currently dealing with. But if I could help you out and be cool, I mean that's so lovely to do.
Well, I'm starting a cult.
Well, okay, that makes sense. That makes total sense. That's why I feel so sleepy from this drink.
Yeah, man, keep drinking. Keep drinking.
Why?
Water tastes good.
Got me again.
Got you.
Good job, Wesam. I'm so wasted.
Oh, man.
There's 30% of my earnings.
30%. That's especially with your recent bookings. That would be a nice chunk of change. Well, you've got The Flash. You've got Orville. You've got what was the one my friend Catherine Dent was on? Agents of the Shield, right?
Agents of Shield. Yeah.
Did you work with Catherine on there? She was one of the main bad guys, actually.
No,
for
I
this
didn't work with her.
last season, I think.
No.
Okay. Amazing person. Actually, I'm trying to get her on the podcast again.
Ooh,
Sweet.
Yeah.
super fun.
Yeah.
I've been on a lucky little streak lately, and I'm like, it's like, again, man, like it's that surrendering, going, I can't control this. Like, I just want to do good work and have fun with my friends. And I learned also the more people that you can. When I was younger, I lived in Bakersfield, California, and I remember driving to LA to go to see a comedy show. And after that comedy show, one of the performers came out afterwards and did like a meet and greet, and I went back to Bakersfield. And I was so naive to the entire business in general. So a couple weeks later on HBO, I saw that guy in a real small part in an HBO movie. I went, oh my God, that's my friend Brad. It's not my friend. He did like a meet and greet afterwards. But there was a part of me that kind of shared, like, I had a connection to that movie that was on because I had met that guy. Yeah. And so I learned now as an adult that I'm in the entertainment business, going, the more people like you can meet and be cool to, like, this is a huge buffet that we're allowed to kind of eat and like create in, going, I can share that with so many people. Like, oh, my friend's on this. Like, so now that show that you love or whatever that I got to guest on or I came in or whatever, you now have a tie to that and like an ownership even more to go, oh man, like you can experience this crazy Alice in Wonderland journey that I'm on right now that could end at any time, but you're with me on it. So that makes me feel super great.
life can end at any time.
Absolutely,
You're not guaranteed tomorrow. I was in a weird funk yesterday. My manager of my building, she was such a sweetheart. She's an older lady. She passed away. And it really bummed me out, man, because I noticed I hadn't seen her in a while. And I was like, I saw her door was usually closed. I'm like, I got this sense, sometimes you got to just go with your gut. I'm like, I should say hi to her, see what's up. I haven't seen her in forever. She was a little sick. She got sick and then she passed away. And I was like, that's it. She's gone.
Yeah.
It's such an eerie feeling. And I see her car in the same parking space. And I'm like, well, she can't take that with her to her next life. So what's really important? It made me think of the things okay, what's really important? Because what are we doing with our lives,
Yeah. Like, what's the point? Because same thing. I had a friend pass away and found out yesterday.
Oh, wow.
And it was just like, I got these weird, like, mental disorder. Like, what's the point? Like, why? But you really realize also, I've never been like a material guy or anything like that. But you really kind of sink into, like, what do you value, like, with your friends, your life, or whatever it is you're dealing with? Because it's not the material stuff. Like, seeing people like murder each other and have their gods, be money. Going, it's weird now that so much stuff is with people's mindset is going. Is it not if it's right or wrong, but what will it cost me if I get caught doing this? It's like, how do you sleep at night, man? Like, I don't understand that. We're such a we and not an individual. Like, it's crazy.
It's hard to say. I think it's definitely a case-by-case business.
Sure.
Case-by-case business. Dude, my words have been a little flubby since the morning for some reason.
Are you still drunk from Sunday?
You know what? Be quiet, Michael. No, dude, we had a crazy guys' night podcast last week.
What?
And I highly recommend you check it out.
Okay.
We had some homebrew beer. Two of my really good friends were here, and we played towards the end of the podcast something called the No Laughing Game.
Oh,
I still have.
You know what? No, you don't talk about that mark because when I shocked you. So if you laugh during the No Laughing Game, we have this taser kind of like electroshock thing. And so, of course, you can only imagine somebody
amazing.
gets tased, you want to laugh, you get tased. It's a horrible cycle.
Oh, I'm with you, brother. That's amazing.
Yeah,
Like,
especially after a couple drinks. So.
Oh man, I have this just to tie in, like, just to bond with you. Like, my mindset for parties also. Anytime I throw a party, like in different rooms in my house, I'll set up different like game zones. Like there'll be like a Play-Doh zone. There'll be like a Lego brick zone. Like, but I also have like kind of like the torture zone where I have like these things called shock tanks.
Yes.
Where you play and if you shoot each other remote control tanks, you shock. Or you also have the kind of like the Simon, where like when the music plays, everyone has like a little joystick. But it'll shock you. So whoever hits the button last is the one that gets shocked. But if you you hit the button before the music stops, you'll get shocked as well. So it's one of those like.
Oh yes.
We turned it into a drinking game. So if you keep doing it and like as a drinking game because your reflexes get worse and worse, and you're like, no, I hate this so much.
So you see these little scabs?
Yeah.
That's from it.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah. This guy, I shocked him with it, and he goes, he didn't even react. Hey, what is wrong with you? It hurts, man. Anyway, that was last week.
I love how we were talking super zen. And guys,
I know.
Pro you, everything's great. Come on, guys, life's great. Hey, so we shock each other, and it's
Dude,
amazing.
I love doing that. I don't know why. Like seeing my friends and that uncomfortable and like a little bit of pain. I know they're not gonna die. It's just really funny.
Well, there's a consequence to it. It's just so fun when you're up in the stakes. Like I always wanted to do like someone they'll take my idea, which I don't care and go for it. I thought it'd be cool to have some sort of app, like you always play that multiplayer app, like you can play with somebody. I go, but there needs to be stakes, like something. Originally I was thinking shock, or have like a metal case so you actually get shocked. I go, what's valuable? Like, battery power to your thing. So I go, if you play or whatever, to have some sort of thing where it drains your battery X amount if you lose. And I'm like, oh, that would be the worst. Like,
yeah.
But also that would be the best game in the world. Are you kidding me?
Can you imagine laser tag with like shock things, like
I
a real
have that.
taser?
I have. No, not a real taser, but yeah.
Well, no. Well, I mean like a substantial shock.
They have that.
Oh yes.
Yeah. It's crazy. It's like a little vest, but it's also in the gun because you have like little straps on the gun because if you get shocked, like you immediately want to throw the gun and smash it. Yeah.
See, I love that stuff. And one of my friends especially, he does not like electrical shock things. He was being, oh my God.
He was crying.
He was crying. Literally crying.
To not laugh.
Amazing.
Tears.
You got to check it out. It was a blast.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we were talking about something serious. I totally forgot. That's
No,
fine.
forget it. Are you kidding me? Let's keep talking about shocking. Holy cow.
We've already started planning our Japan trip next year. All
What?
three of us.
What?
Me and my friends, we're planning on doing a Japan trip.
Have you been there before?
No, I was gonna go
Oh.
this summer, but
Dude, it's
Yeah.
out of all the places I've been so fortunate to visit, that is my favorite. Like, you're gonna lose your mind knowing
know.
you. Like, it's gonna be. Oh, I can't wait
I
for
can't.
you.
I can't wait. I can't wait. I love the culture. I love the history. I love just the way people conduct themselves and the underground cultures that are involved there. So we're more than likely we're going to go to Tokyo. I feel like 2 weeks in Tokyo, we might go somewhere and then come back on a train, like take a day trip somewhere. But 2 weeks, I feel like decent amount of time. I wish I could stay there longer.
Oh, you're gonna have a blast, man.
I can't wait.
I love that mindset of a tribe or a society
Yeah,
where
yeah.
everyone kind of works together. Like hearing stories that people like lose like a wallet full of like hundreds of dollars of cash on a public bus, and then a couple days later, like 3 days later, this guy got a knock on his door, and not anyone from the bus company, just a guy from the street found it, tracked this guy down, handed him his wallet. All his money was still in it, and he tried to pull out money to pay the guy. Like, hey, thank you so much. He's like, no, this is the right thing to do. Like,
Yes.
why would? And I'm like, oh my God, like, can we have that in our culture? Because there is that in our culture, but not to the extreme where it's like, oh, somebody else messed up. Sorry, bro.
See, that's where it goes back to what really matters in this world, you know? And I found that the things that it's hard to put into words, but the only thing I can really say is deep down inside just feels like the right thing to do. And the thing that's part of the ultimate truth in life is, you know, being of service to other people, making people, you know, helping people. Like with my work, my acting work, one of my prayers I do is I pray to God and I say, I pray that I'm able to take care of my family financially and that my artistry also enlightens and entertains people so that they lead better lives and you know, the people, their community around them become better too. I think that's the ultimate goal of artistry in general.
Absolutely.
So that kind of service, I don't know, those are the only things that matter. Like money is just a tool, you know, to help you get to those points because again, we can't take any of this stuff with us, man.
Yeah, it's such a crazy thing. It's almost like people that have this. Back when I used to teach martial arts with students with the belt system, I always say, like, or the attitude with fighting in general. I'm like, hey man, I go, you got to understand. I go, anything you do in life is like being in the line. There's always going to be someone in front of you. There's always someone behind you. Just work on yourself and try to get better and just try to move forward in that line. But there's that balance because like, you see kids who would be like, oh, I'm amazing, but man, there's always someone who's better than you are. So you're always going to try to get better and better. I go, but also watch it because that guy who you're talking down to below you, you're somebody else's below. So, you know, it's that yin yang, like,
Yes.
know where you are and just don't live outside of what you think you are and just try to get better, man.
100%. And always be appreciative of where you come from.
Oh, for sure.
And what, like for me, I'm super appreciative of parents. One of the reasons why I want to take care of them and, you know, help them retire, get them a house, have, you know, is because they sacrificed everything to come to this country. Without them, I wouldn't have what I have right now. Do you know what I mean?
That's so great that you're so appreciative. That's beautiful.
Oh yeah. And even people who have, Goggins, Anthony Goggins,
Walton?
I think.
Walton?
No, he was the Navy SEAL. He was the guy who like does ultra marathons, has the world record in pull-ups. I think it's Anthony Goggins. Anyway, he was on the Joe Rogan podcast, and he had a horrible upbringing, and he's still thankful for that because it turned him into the man he is today, despite of where he came from.
See, that's
In spite.
That's
Yeah.
what we're doing with TV and film, man. We're telling those stories. There's a different version because that myth is, I think, ultimately with TV and film or mythology in general, or story, is that it either somebody has it worse than we do or somebody has it just as bad. So it's the purpose of doing it in general is, yeah, it can be entertaining and you can have escapism,
Right.
but to let people know that it's going to be okay. Like whatever it is you're currently dealing with, like people, we're all insecure about something, or we have some sort of conflict. Some of us think we're too tall or too short or too wide or too thin, or our teeth are messed up, or I can't see well. Dude, we all got our stuff. but that's who we are. Once you learn to embrace that, like not trying to sound like a preachy or on my soapbox.
No. It's not at all coming off like that. And that's something that I think is missing. Like, love who you are.
Yeah.
If you're killing people and addicted to meth, maybe change a little bit.
Maybe dial it down just a tiny bit.
Yeah. But there are certain aspects of yourself that are good qualities. And there's stuff that you can work on. That's fair, But at the same time, don't hate yourself. I see people. I see like athletes, for instance, extreme athletes. I'm like, man, I wish I could do that. And I appreciate, but I'm not gonna go look in the mirror and go, oh, you piece of crap. That's not healthy. And again, it goes back to what I was saying before. There's this fire in everybody. There's this goodness in everybody, and I really hope that people see it. And that's why my Instagram page is all sunrises from my morning runs. Because I think a visual diet is just important as a food diet. What are you,
sure,
eating visually?
What do you? It's like your brain is a computer, and what are you downloading? Through your optics.
What are you looking on Instagram? What kind of videos are you watching? All those things have an influence on you. I believe. If you're constantly looking at really negative stuff or reading, trolling comments or things that aren't really good for you, you're not going to feel great.
Yep, absolutely. And then you're going to carry it on to other things, like not getting into politics, but waking up and just check out the damage report and see what's going on, and I'll be positive, and then after done seeing people be upset or hurt or it just breaks my heart, and so you now have that energy in you, and I'll go out and someone will cut me off. I would normally I'd be like, oh, okay, someone cut me, I get it. But wow, that person's probably this type of person that I read earlier, and that energy just passes on. So whatever you create and let out there, other people absorb it. And so you got to be careful, like you said, what you absorb, because you're gonna store that, and it's gonna become you.
Yeah. I mean, it's super hard when you drive. I get that.
I get so mad.
Dude,
sometimes.
Recently, I don't know where my road rage has come back recently. I don't know. I had to kind of quell it. Be like, no. This is not coming back up again.
Then what's been helping me lately is to pre-think, like you talked about when you expect something. We talked before about knowing that conflict is going to come no matter what.
Yes.
So what's been helping me is when I get in the car, going, okay, someone's going to do something that's dumb. Okay, I'm going to expect this, and when it happens, I'm not freaked out by it or shocked, because a lot of us get angry and road rage because of the fear, that initial adrenaline shock, and going you could have killed me, or this could have happened, so we get mad because we try so much on our own to follow the rules, and when someone's not, and kind of leaving the pack, going I'm going to, the line is here, I'm going to cut in front of everybody and I'm more important. We get mad about that. So what I've learned also is the mentality is going, we all have our skill sets in different areas. So when I see someone race by me and I take the side of my door off, and I'm like, well, maybe that's a mom and the child is hurt and they're trying to get to the hospital or something. I don't know that story.
You don't.
So I have to let it go, because I'm not going to let that energy attach to me and then get upset. I struggle with it. That's my mentality behind it. But I still I curse and bang on the steering wheel, and I drive an apocalyptic truck, so I'm I want to murder you. It's just the worst thing in the world. But
you know what's funny? While you were saying that, I have this. I just want to make sure I locked my car, so I'm facing the.
You want to go? Hey guys, if you guys hang out just for 10 minutes, we're gonna go blank. Wesam's gonna check his car, then we'll come right back. And that's how podcasts work, right?
I did this once. This is so embarrassing. I left the oven on all night long. In my apartment, it was on, and I went into my living room. It was so warm. I was like, why is it warm in here? Why is it warm? And then my oven's on, and I was like, oh gosh. You can't really, could something have happened if I left it on for that long?
I don't know. I'm not an oven expert.
You're not?
I didn't go to oven school.
That's not what our reps told me.
It's been really great being on the show. Thank you for having me.
Well, sometimes I feel like people leave it on, in the winter, if they don't have...
Yeah, they'll pop it open.
If they don't have heating.
Yeah.
Okay. I never even thought about that. That makes sense.
The only danger, I think, is if you, leave the gas on.
Yeah.
I like smelling
the gas.
Is that not... Does that do anything?
It makes me feel, I don't know, what's the word I'm looking for? Immortal? What?
How long have you been with Stagecoach too?
Our management company.
Yeah.
From the beginning, man. I forget how long though.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
From when Steve started the company.
Yeah, when he started the company, when he approached me, I remember interviewing with
Whoa.
different companies, and I was doing like a big shift, going, okay, I'm gonna like re-rep myself or whatever, and I've always said no to a manager for the longest time, and I was interviewing different places, and so many of them were like, I don't buy into the Hollywood BS where the Armani suits and like, you know, the latest glasses, like, hey man, like you're a star, we have nothing but stars here, and they try to like pump up your ego, and I'm like, man, I've been many places. I've never forgotten where I've come from. Like, don't BS me on all this. And Steve was so freaking cool. He's kind of like the Jerry Maguire at the time, where he's like, hey, I'm going to take a risk, and this is what I really want to do, and this is why I'm passionate. And he was so human to me. And at one point, he made like a G.I. Joe analogy from the old cartoon in the 80s. And I was like, all right, you're my guy. And he goes, what? And I go, no, you're my guy. And I go, like, how you are as a person, I can see how you are, because there's a fine line between business and humanity, or that personal friendship. I go,
Yes.
we're going to be spending a lot of time together. I go, I want someone that understands and has that humanity, and it's not just kill, trying to win all over the place. I go, I don't care about that. I go, if you're going to talk to somebody on the phone and you're representing me, we need to have similar ideals and same values. And he's like, this is great. I go, no, this is great on my end. And seeing him from the ground up build this entire business.
Huge
and
company.
He's gone so big. I'm so happy for him. I'll call in and check in and go like, hey, like what's going on here? Because like, I get excited for him. It has nothing to do with me, but I'm like, you have clients doing what, where? Like, dude, remember when you're saying like, oh man, I just want like a hammock in the backyard, you know, and have like a dog. Like that would be great. And now you're killing it, man.
I broke his hammock.
No. You broke
Dude,
his dream.
I did.
Oh my
I
God.
was so embarrassed. I went over for his house. It was a lovely dinner. We were chilling in the backyard. And he's like, the hammock. I'm like, oh my God, I love hammocks. Sat in. Oh, I'm being dropped. I'm being dropped right now. Ripped your hammock. He's like, don't worry about it. It's old. I'm like, I'm so sorry. I'm going to buy you a new one. I should get him a new hammock.
That would be.
I should do that. Steve, I know you're going to probably listen to this.
Yeah, he's just listening for his name.
Steve Smith.
Steve.
By the way, when I
Steve
say
Smith.
his name to people, it's like the most
Common
name.
yeah.
Steve Smith.
It's like
John
John
Doe.
Smith. Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. Like what? Oh, cool.
No, same experience I had with when I met with Steve looking for a new manager. I was like, this is the most down to earth meeting. This is like I can actually talk to you. Same ideals, same goals. Yeah.
I've had producers on shows that you know, after they've worked with Steve or whatever, would come to me and be like, hey, I love your guy. Like, your manager is just, he understands both sides. Because he empathizes on both sides, and he's smart rather than just trying to win. He goes, oh, I see what you need. Here's what we need. How do we find that middle ground so we're both happy and we're both moving forward? Because also you're keeping that relationship going for other stuff. And so, like, if someone, like you said before, it's that trust within business going, oh, I know where you're coming from. There's no secret like card playing, like you're trying to secretly screw me over. But all your cards are on the table and going, oh man, I'm just trying to play this game if you're available.
I appreciate that so much. Do you work with James as well over there?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, same. Amazing
What
guy.
a sweetheart, man. Like, does that guy ever, James Jolly, does he ever stop smiling? He's always like so, he's great.
I don't think so. I think like he's programmed. I don't know. No, man, it's, I was asking my theatrical agent, who's exactly the same way, and you'd be surprised how many reps aren't that open.
Oh, I
communication wise.
I would talk to my rep, my acting side and talent agent, and hearing like the stories of people just being monsters, and they're going, I don't understand this. It's all a symbiotic relationship. We work together. Like one of us wins, we all win.
You think everybody would want to have that mindset, but it doesn't happen. I don't know what the reason for that is, but it's out there, and I'm truly blessed and thankful that I have some really solid reps, and I've been with them for a while.
I mean, I'm sure you've been around forever. Like you've heard the horror stories. Like I've heard horror stories of like having producers contact a talent rep and going, "Hey, this is the actor that I want," and being you or whatever. And then having the talent room going, oh, that's great, that's great. Hey, have you thought about this person who's a similar type, is the same exact type, but has a higher price tag, so they would make more on the deal and sell that person under the bus with their own personal relationships? It's
Whoa.
crazy, right? I've heard those stories like multiple times where I'm like, and the only reason like the client found out is because the producers went back to the client going, hey, just so you know, I tried to hire you on this, and that was the reason of me contacting your reps, and they pitched somebody else. So you need to have a conversation. I'm just telling this as a professional, so you have a conversation with who you have surrounding you.
Oh my gosh.
Isn't that just what a betrayal? What an absolute betrayal.
That is
Common.
money.
Common.
Just for the money.
Yeah.
I get it, it's a business, but at the same time, it drives me insane when I hear stuff. What was happening when companies value money and profits over people, which happens literally all the time.
Yeah, all the time.
What was something that was going on recently in the news? I'm trying to think. I know. I'm not asking you to look it up, Michael. I'm just kind of everything, right?
Yeah, pick your poison.
Gosh, I wish I could remember it. It was just absolutely disgusting.
Yeah, man.
I don't know how people, like you said, sleep at night whenever those people who took away people's life savings during the financial crisis a few years back, and then the government bailed them out, and then they got bonuses, and then they continued on their lives. It's like, hey, man, what do you, like, how do you deal, like, with yourself? Like, how do you even think of the world? And it's so, I don't know how you fix that.
It has to be a mentality. I don't know, but I'm assuming that it is the same thing when people hurt other people, where they don't see them as humans, and you're going like, oh, I'm different than you are.
Yeah.
And I'm going to take advantage of you, or like, you didn't protect yourself, not my fault. It's like, I threw a punch, you didn't block, man. I told you I was going to throw you a punch. Like, what? Like, no, you didn't. That makes no sense to me.
It's just so sad watching, like, because I was looking to invest in some, like, 401ks, IRAs, and then I was like, I went to this whole rabbit hole of YouTube videos from the financial crisis, and just these people who are like, where's my life savings? There are people who can't work anymore. They've reached a certain age. They can't work. They were relying on this money.
Yeah.
And then they get away with it.
Yeah.
How criminal is that? And then the majority of the politicians we vote in don't do anything about it.
Yep.
Because they're bought out by those same people.
Yep. Get the money out of the politics.
If that doesn't upset you,
Yeah.
I don't know what to say. I honestly don't have a solution to all this other than me being emperor, and I brought that up probably every single podcast. But man, I don't know, man. I don't know what to do.
Yeah, I don't understand the balance between like the guy who can go steal millions from ripping people in their savings, or the white collar crimes they call it. White collar. But if someone on the street were to pull a gun on somebody and take $5, that guy's in prison for 20 years or whatever. But we're gonna go, that guy needs to be prosecuted completely. The guy did worse, but he just did it with a pen or a laptop. There's no difference in what he did.
He ruined hundreds of thousands of lives.
Yeah, I don't understand, man. I don't. Do you teach more courses on humanity? How do we do that?
How do you break free of the chains then? I'm just proposing this question. So, like, for people who are born into a very difficult situation, let's say low income, bad neighborhood, not a good education, how do you break free from that? Because a lot of times those communities, those chains that are put on those communities are on purpose, so that the people in charge stay in charge. They don't want to provide them with proper health care. They want them to continue being sick and continue being able to barely make it financial wise and not get a good education, so that future generations stay in the same like hole that they're in, and that those people stay in power. So how do you break free of that?
That's, I think, what we're trying to figure out and deal with, where people just dominating other people. It's not about the purpose of things to evolve and make things better for everybody. It's about, how do I get my power from that giant wad of cash so I can control that and continue to do whatever I want and not us? So I don't, my mentality going like, man, like if your pal next to you, say you have like 10 apples and your pal next to you doesn't have any apples and is hungry, and you know they're a good person and there's no ulterior motive, like, why wouldn't you give him an apple? That makes no sense. Like that, you have 10 of them.
Even your neighbor, let's say, like in these communities, a lot of times it's like there's violence going on within, they're fighting with each other, and it's like, I don't know what can you do to be like, hey, literally everybody's in the same boat. The fight you're fighting isn't supposed to be with each other. It's supposed to be with the people who are trying to keep you in this position. I don't know. I don't know what to do. Michael, I know you're involved a little bit politically, right?
Yep. I'm working on a congressional campaign.
What, really?
Kind of.
I thought you were doing a bit. That's awesome.
My boss, he's an attorney. I'm like his LA-based assistant, and so he's running for Congress in Western Pennsylvania.
Dude, congratulations. That's fantastic, bro.
And you believe in the cause and everything that he stands up for, and you feel like he's a very genuine person, right?
I do, yeah. Okay. Much better than the guy that he's running against. His name is Mike Kelly. He's not a very good representative.
Boy.
What do you do then? Because this is a dilemma I face, especially when voting. I am not the type of guy who goes, well, these are my only two choices, so I guess I have to vote. It's like I will not vote. It doesn't. I don't feel good voting for the I don't agree with this person, and I don't agree with this person. Okay, this is what I'm left with. Now I'm forced to vote now.
Yeah.
How do I battle that? How do I overcome that, or how do I fix that?
Realize that not voting is a choice, and that not voting means that the person that is voting is the person that is on the other side who's going, I want these bad things that I think are bad, but just because the person that I'm voting for isn't perfect. That's kind of what happened in the last election.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's never that simple. You know what I mean? There's huge negatives with I feel like, both. Anyway, I don't know what to do, man.
Yeah, dude.
I like sometimes I look at the situation. I'm like, what do I do other than try to keep my head down and live a good life?
Yeah, at one point, my fiance, I'm like, is it possible? I go, what do you think would happen? Like, what if you hired like someone who's like a Buddhist monk, to go into politics and to like have there's no money involved at all, doesn't value money, doesn't. I go, what do you think would happen? And I wonder if because everybody wants that power and control, and like, why do we only have two candidates? Like, that makes no sense. Like, there are other qualified people. Like, everyone is just jockeying for power and control.
The Kingdom of Nepal or the Kingdom of Tibet, I forget. They don't do a GDP kind of thing. They measure people's happiness in the country rather than their wealth.
That would be great.
That's what they value. Are the people happy?
Yeah.
I was like, ooh, that shifts things considerably.
Yeah.
A lot the rest of the countries in the world, it's like, what's the GDP? What's the general income of each person? Oh, cool. Oh, this is they have a lot of money, so they must be super happy.
Yeah. But you're also flaunting like the stuff we have like with MTV. Like I just recently, like, no offense MTV, but like flipping through the channels, whatever, and I was like, oh, I haven't watched MTV since I was a kid. Like, what are they? Oh my God! Like, what are you programming with these kids? Like, the shows, like, that's how you're supposed to behave. Like, oh, I'm gonna get wasted and sleep with as many people as possible. I'm gonna lie, misspeak. Hey, I'm 16. I just had a kid. Guys, I'm famous. Life's great. What are you selling? And you're telling people how to live that. That's the outline you're giving. Like, dude, without saying like it's false or it drives me crazy when people think reality shows are real. And I'm like, guys, I'm in the business. I know the curtain of Hollywood Oz. It's not real. Are you kidding me? Like, I also love when I feed he in quotes actors their lines. Are going, I think that Tommy is a complete jerk, and boy, at this point, I've had enough. Oh my God!
I've worked on a show where somebody had to have a teleprompter.
Oh boy.
Some I should say established actor.
Mm-hmm.
And it was very disappointing.
That's a bummer, man. That's such a bummer.
Not my current show. Just letting people know.
Wait, is your current show a reality show? I'm not trying to dog.
No, I'm kidding. No. You know what's a trippy thing to look into? And this is 100% true. The government actually has a patent on, I guess, a radio frequency device through radio and through television that sends subliminal messages that you can't, like your ears, you can't hear, but it's imprinted on your subconscious through a different
like a binary
hertz
frequency.
Yeah.
What?
And if you
Conspiracy theory.
and there is a certain frequency in which radio is broadcasted at that actually you ever see those videos of like they have sand on a square and there's like a bass underneath them, and through the bass speaker they'll do it like a frequency 1678 or whatever, and it'll be this beautiful geometric design, and if they just shift it just a little bit, it becomes chaos. Radio changed its frequency from a frequency that was that would create a wonderful like sacred geometry shape to something, if I'm not mistaken, during the 1940s or 60s. I'm not really sure, but they changed it to a frequency which would promote chaos and make you feel and if you heard they did tests, if you heard the same like song or sounds from the good frequency, you'd be like, okay, oh yeah, I like this, I feel good. And they would see how the subject was feeling, and then when they shifted it to the other frequency, like they're like, okay, this is the same frequency, they'd be like, oh, I feel bad. Or the people who had just got that frequency, like, I don't like it. Something, I don't know, I just don't like it.
That's so well. So is the purpose of it, do you think, is to like you said before, like the people in power don't want the people to unify, so to avoiding us to unify because they will take the power away and go, oh, we figured out what you're doing to us, we don't want that.
Let's look at it logically, because I know it's easy to go into that that people will think, oh, this is a crazy conspiracy talk, but no. Let's take that logically. The patent is there, and the tests are there. Okay, so those are facts. Okay, cool. So why would somebody create this? What are the possibilities then? Let's talk about that. My initial reaction is, well, there is some kind of negative influence on people, or some type of control, it seems like, or influence that you can have on people's subconscious. I mean, look at the thing you were just talking about. What's on MTV? The garbage that's on a lot of TV, and that people absorb so much. Like I said before, like, what's your visual diet? That has an effect on you, man.
For sure.
So why are those things there? Look at the major broadcasting companies. I know we're actors and we work for other, but like, see who they're run by. Yeah. The little, you ever see those branches of who owns everything and everything?
Yeah.
Okay.
Some of those saved on my computer.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Good to know, right? Okay, cool. So, that's weird. This company owns that. Oh, wait. Well, and then you see, well, there's lobbyists from these companies that pay off certain candidates, and that's why these laws get passed. These are, I'm not speaking conspiracy, I'm speaking facts.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
So how do you rise above that, or at least live a good life? I don't know. I don't know, man.
Great. Now I'm bummed out. Thanks for having me on the show.
Sorry, Derek. It's got so real. It's got so real, Derek.
Great. Oh, I got one. Thanks for the shows. Also, a branded noose with your logo on it. Great. Thanks, man.
Oh, man, that'd be so bad.
At the end, I go partying, like, bad gift. Like, hey, man, things go sour. Remember, just have like your own branded
God,
noose.
So dark. So dark. So dark.
It's so bad.
Oh my gosh. I want to make sure you're good on time, because I know you might have to head out. Let me know. Okay.
Nothing going on today.
Really? Okay, good. We got 4 more hours of this.
What?
No, I'm kidding. What was the last project you worked on?
I just shot a pilot for Adult Swim.
That's freaking awesome.
Yeah,
dude.
live action comedy thing. I don't know. I guess I can talk a little bit about it. Not crazy amounts, but I guess in a nutshell, it's like a dark, in my opinion. So I don't get in trouble. So I don't want to get out the cat out of the bag. I don't want to blow the cat out of the bag. Interpret that how you will. What's your age group here for this show? Okay, got it.
Whatever, man. Right. Yeah, you can curse if you need to.
But no,
they actually put the explicit.
Oh, I talked to Maddie about that. Yeah, so certain episodes are explicit now. I let her know.
I just want to curse once. That way I can have that explicit mark. Like, if someone's scrolling, they're like, which episode do I want? Oh, that dude. He looks like a murderer. Let's listen to what he has to say. Like, okay. But no, the show, in my opinion, it's a dark Three Stooges meets Pee-wee's Playhouse. And
love it. That's a great description.
Just absurdist humor and just
Wonderful.
So much fun. I kept going like, wait, I just go to work and play with my friends. We just play. Okay, cool.
When did you shoot this?
We just shot it 3 weeks ago.
Oh my gosh, that's kind of late in terms of the typical pilot things that get shot. That's why I'm
Yeah.
curious. So when do you know if it gets picked up?
I don't know.
Okay.
Soon, hopefully.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just know they like it, so I don't
Please
know.
keep me updated.
Absolutely,
I'd love to
for
know
sure,
if it
for
is.
sure.
I'd love to watch it. That sounds really interesting.
Oh, dude, I'm just lucky.
Stay in shape. Still working out.
Still training for. I have another job that I can't talk about.
Okay.
But yeah, it's always so weird with my body because like I'll go and meet fans like doing autograph signings and either if I'm any role that I do, I'll either gain weight or I'll lose weight, and sometimes I'll be like I'm an actor. That's what I do. I adapt to the role. And
Right.
at one point I was like I was really thin. I'm pretty lean right now. But for like an autograph signing, and fans like, I thought you would be a lot bigger.
How rude is that?
Yeah. And I'm like, what? You look really big on camera. I'm like, I adapt, man. I don't have an ego. I don't care what you think, but
That
I'm
is
training.
so, like, I would never say that to somebody.
yeah.
Even if I thought that, I'd be like, okay.
Are you sick?
You sick?
No,
No.
I don't get that.
No, it's, comedians talk about that a lot of times when they'll get backhanded compliments. They'll be
yeah.
like, hey, my friends hate you, but I think you're hilarious.
Dude,
It's like,
absolutely.
thank you. All right, bye.
Yeah. Hey, I'm not like everybody else who hates you, but the certain film, I really like what you did. Like, I thought everything else was crap. All your friends on the show, total crap. But you were pretty good.
Chris D'Elia is really good at handling people like that because
Yeah.
he won't put up with that. He'll just go, okay, and he'll just walk away.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, I meant it as a good. It's like, dude, you got to think about the way you talk before you say things.
Absolutely. I've always got to remember, though, because I can talk about, like, same thing with driving, where we all have skills in different areas.
Right.
Like, nobody's better than anybody else.
Right.
Like, do what you love, try to move forward and respect everybody until you give a reason not to. That's my life motto. So I'm like, you don't have the orator skills that you think you do because you're not. Your skill set might be painting or working on a car, and not so much with the social interaction. I've done I hate this movie that you're in, and here's why. Man, I don't. I'm an actor. I come in and do my job. I don't care.
If somebody said that to me, I'd be like, that's a weird thing to say.
Yeah. Oh, no, okay. I will call.
That's a weird thing. Sorry, something's in my eye. Oh gosh.
But are you similar though? Like, I myself, like, anytime I always say, like, with artists, like, anything you make, I always expect 50% of the people to love it and 50% of the people to hate it.
Yeah. You know what? Especially recently. Sorry, man. There's something in my eye. I think I got it. I don't know. This podcast just got derailed by
Guys, I'm so sorry.
by my long,
it's
luscious.
completely ruined right now because someone is completely unprofessional. You know what? Do your eyelash into your own eye on your own time.
They're so
Wesam.
long. They're so long
I
and
get
luscious.
it. Oh, so beautiful.
So, you know what? I only care about the actual work part. I love just going on set, working. I love being in the moment, doing the best I can, and then I'm happy. That's what I can control. The editing process I can't control. Any of that stuff, other stuff after that, I don't really care about anymore. And honestly, it's great when I receive, people who have had a positive impact on it. Awesome. But it's not what I strive to hear. I'd rather have a positive impact on people and not hear about it and just keep doing my work. That's what I'd honestly like to do.
Yeah, I've never been I'm not that Oscars guy. I'm not that kid in theater class going, someday I want an Oscar, I'll be there and I'll show. If you're that way, I'm not judging you. That's totally fine. But for myself personally, I want to be known for doing good work. Go, that guy was like, he did some really good work. I don't need an award. I don't need to show everybody, like, look how amazing I am. No, if whatever I created affected you and, like, it made you either feel better or it helps you get through whatever you're currently dealing with, man, like, that makes me feel like $1 million. I'm like, that's my Oscar. I'm like, super cool.
I totally dig it. Do you know any good jiu-jitsu? Back to the training thing.
Jiu-jitsu?
Jiu-jitsu. I've been trying to find some good, like, Brazilian jiu-jitsu
locally?
places. Because it's something I want to really get into. I took one class and it was, like, way too far south, and I was like, I really love this.
But are you in this area?
I'm in the valley.
Oh, absolutely. One of my old instructors, I haven't been there for a while, Gokor Savician. He preps UFC fighters. Gene LaBelle's with him.
Oh, wow.
They team up. They have their own new facility towards Woodman area, right
that's really cool.
down the way. That place, like, the Armenian cats that run it are just awesome, and like you will learn so much so fast, and like they have like a whole.
Would you mind making like some kind of introduction?
Absolutely.
Because I obviously I want to be in a class setting which will help me get better.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I need to wear the ear guards. I got to make sure.
Oh yeah, you can't mess your face up.
Yeah, I want to be like. I hate it that it has to be like that, but that's just the way it is right now. But I want to learn, so I would really appreciate it if you can make some kind of introduction.
Those guys are, they're family to me. I mean, I've trained with those guys for so many years, and like, they're brutal, but like good dudes, man.
Yeah,
I remember that because like I don't know if you like with UFC like Manny Gambarian, Carl Parisians are there. They coached like Ronda Rousey for a while. All kinds of like they do seminars all over the place. They're legends, man. Like like I said, not trying to sound like I'm tooting horns, but like I have nothing but respect for those guys. Like,
man,
really good fighters,
murderers.
Yeah, exactly. Man. Yeah, some of those guys. Like
I loved it when I was taking that class down south. It felt so natural to me.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is what comes. This is the I guess the most natural martial art that I felt that I can initially get into. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sometimes when you start a martial art, I know you've done a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like a little difficult, or you're like, okay, that's kind of weird. I felt with grappling, I was like, my body mechanics make sense for what we're doing.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I was talking about similar to like for myself with acting techniques, like I pair that with fighting, where it's like, oh man, find out what works for you. There's so many different styles.
Yeah.
But also, as a human, there's only so many different angles and so many ways you can throw a strike, so many different ways you can throw a block, so many different ways you can, like, the body can be manipulated to lock out a joint or whatever. Similar to like with dialogue, there's only so many words, there's so many different combinations.
Right.
So you learn, like, what do you need, and like kind of choose and build your own like personal like arsenal for the character that is you.
Absolutely. I mean, I take the Bruce Lee saying, and it's something that Musashi said a long time ago. Bruce Lee said, the highest art is no art, the highest form is no form. And then with Musashi, like, hundreds and hundreds of years ago, he talked about how be everywhere and nowhere.
Yeah.
And that's what I try to apply with acting, like use whatever technique is, like what you're saying.
Yeah,
it's exactly the same thing.
It's similar to improv. Like, you have to be in the moment. You can't be ahead of yourself, like thinking out what I'm going to do, or think in the past, like, oh, how am I going to counter to what he's doing? You have to be in the exact moment. I love when you... Like, I've taught and trained for so many different styles for so many years, and every now and then you get guys who just got their yellow belt or whatever and just started like, well, if you were to punch me in the face, to try to punch me, this is what I do. Like, man, with your adrenaline and the fear, like, you have no idea what you're gonna do. No. Like, you can't say like, oh, well, I will do move number 42, and I go, that might be your intention, but I tell you what, like, once someone connects with you, that game plan is thrown out of the window, because your natural instinct. That's why you talked about before with officers and military, with that conditioning.
Yes.
So you're used to it, going, oh, this is a familiar situation. This is how my body reacts.
And that's what me and my buddy do every Sunday morning, Isaiah, with our acting class. It's just me and him, and we would give each other cold reading scenes, so we'd be ready.
I watched one of yours, which which is awesome. You posted something a while back. I don't know if I didn't know it was an ongoing thing.
Yes.
But I was super stoked. I'm cutting you off because I'm going to give you a big compliment, because I was like, so many actors are so precious about their techniques, about right or wrong, or sharing. They don't want to share what they're going through. But to see you break down a script and go, okay, cool, I go, oh, I was learning things where I'm like, oh, that's your process. Like, oh, right now you're fearless because you're videotaping this and going, hey man, I'm figuring it out. Like, I don't, because a lot of times they think actors want to go, or the perception is like, I grabbed a script and I walked over and I just nailed it right off the bat or whatever. And to see your creative process, that to me was like just beyond fascinating, going, oh, like, you're trying to figure out where you want to go with the scene. You're talking about the context of it and going like, oh, where's the arc? And then going through and literally like programming that neural pathway of that new information, and to see you do that live with your partner. I'm like, dude, I liked you before. Like, I have nothing but respect. Like, that's awesome. That's like going, hey, I'm going to hop on this high wire. Yeah, I'm a high wire specialist, but I've never been on this with this wind or this high. Like, I'm just going to try to figure it out. Also, there's glass on the wire. Here we go.
Thanks,
what?
Man.
Holy
Thanks, man. I really appreciate that. And that's what made us better. And that's what helped us book more. Is because we would do scenes in a way like, you know what, this might not work, but let's just try it this way. Let's see what we find. Yeah. And that's the same thing with fighting. It's like, okay, what if this happens? What if this happens?
Mm-hmm.
Let's try this. Let's just run this like 20 times, see what happens. And it's how we found results in our careers. And I'm telling you, man, there's something to it. There's some universal truth in doing stuff like that, trying it different ways, doing this, doing that. Just that repetition is tremendous. Because when you're in the audition room, you got the callback with the producer session, you're confident in your ability because you know you've done it in training. And so when the producer's like, hey, can you do it? That was good, but can you do it this way? And he's like, oh, yeah, cool. I know exactly how to shift those beats because I've done that before. Cool, I got you. And you're not going, oh, my God, he didn't like the first way I did it.
Yeah.
Oh, my God, what is he talking about? Oh, gosh, I wasn't listening to what he said. Oh, my God, okay, how do I do this? Oh, my gosh. Okay, cool. And you've heard nothing.
Yeah.
So you're more in the moment. You're more relaxed. They see, oh, cool, this guy's a professional. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
You're more in control. And that's the same thing with fighting. You don't know what you're going to do until how well have you conditioned yourself?
Yeah. That's what back in the day, when I was doing stunts and acting together, I would try to explain to each side because it's very stunts to acting is very white collar to blue collar or left brain to right brain. Where on the stunts, your job is to make the stunt coordinator look good, do what you say you can do, and you're kind of like a soldier in a sense. And as an actor, you have that creative freedom where you go, oh, I don't want to do this, I want to do this, this is what I'm trying to do. It's more creative in a sense. So I would explain to people, I would have stunt guys going like, that actor doesn't remember his choreography and like he's all over the place. I go, what you got to understand, I go, he's dealing with the emotion. And I go, what you do with fights, with punch, kicks, blocks, slams, whatever, I go, that's what he does with words. And I go, so that's his natural thing. And I go, on the opposite side, I see actors going, some of the stunt guys are so technical, and they're also, they have to be a beat. It's not that they don't flow, they don't build into this or that. I go, well, you got to understand on their part, they're more mathematical and mechanics hitting point, and the fine line is blending, or that line between the two and blending it together. You're doing the same exact thing, but just different forms. You're doing it more verbally and emotionally. He's doing it more physically and rhythm-wise. But there's that marriage point of that rhythm where you start to flow together. And so also the whole hierarchy going, that's his skill set, that's your skill set. Like, no one's better than anybody else.
I love that chemistry that can happen too with two actors or stunt guy and two stunt guys are doing, because when you see it's flowing and it works, you're like, that looks so cool, or it feels amazing. You know what I watched again, and I was just watching clips, Whiplash.
Yeah.
Have you seen it?
I have not seen the Whiplash. It's like my mom. The Whiplash.
The Whiplash.
Have you seen The Stars Wars?
I'm on the Instagram. I love the dude, it's such
Do we want to play a scene?
I think we might need to.
For Whiplash? All right.
I don't know how long we can. That's the thing. I hate. That's why
you have to talk over it, right?
Yeah. You know what? No, let's not play a scene. Let me know if you see Whiplash.
Okay.
Because it's like it's like my second or third favorite movie of all time.
Oh, good.
It's the ending always brings me to goosebumps and makes me want to cry, because there's certain parts of it and a certain part in the movie where you go as the audience member. How the heck does he get out of this? Where's this movie going? This is how would somebody overcome this? Dude, chills. You start wanting to cry, and then something beautiful happens in the film at a certain point. I'm not giving it too much away, but it's called the golden moment, and it's what I call the golden moment. It's where you're in a scene, and you don't know if you're saying the words or the words are flowing on you, or if you're acting on the words or the words are acting on you. You don't know. It's that blend that happens. And then all of a sudden you feel like from right here, your solar plexus, you're just like in the moment. You're feeling the emotion. You're living in there, and you're just shining. That's all you feel. You're like in the zone, man. You know, when you're working out and you're just like unstoppable.
And you have like no idea how much time has gone by because you're in that zone.
Yeah, you're like running, let's say, or you're like lifting weights, or you're doing dips and you don't know how many you've done. You're just busting them out, and it happens in the movie.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And everything just, you zone, like you don't hear stuff for a while. You just do the tunnel vision thing. You know what I mean? And you're just
I love those moments. As
Oh, I'm
artists,
so
man.
pumped up right now. It's the caffeine. Let's wrestle. Let's jujitsu. No, I'm kidding.
I'm just in a fetal position.
Can you imagine?
Guard myself.
That's how the podcast ends. Me trying to
That
like
would be
wrestle you.
amazing.
You being 6'4", I'm 5'8". I'm just trying to climb all over you like a bug.
Oh my god, that's so funny. Oh, I love it. Yeah, yeah, I love those rhythms. Like when you connect with somebody on whatever your art is, and you used to, that volleying back and forth of energy, and it builds, and it's like, that's what you strive for.
Let's act in something together.
Let's do it. I hate I hate when I want to be when you go to meetings or auditions. I wish I could bring my own reader in. And go, look, let me, because so many times I'll go in and have somebody read who is just not giving me anything. And it's like, I'm supposed to be reacting, I'm listening, and you are just reading the words, and there's nothing behind what you're doing.
Wouldn't that be awesome? What a baller move that would be. Hi, I brought in a reader for this.
Yeah, that's cool.
Oh.
Whoa, okay.
You'd have to be a name, though. You couldn't be like Joshua.
Yeah. Mr. Mears, the doors are that way. Oh, thank you. No, cool. Honestly, that's why I prefer. I personally prefer to self-tape because I can control what I want to bring across, and so I would much prefer that, and so I can figure it out and have like a rhythm. 'Cause I always talk about that. I don't know if you do this, but I'll do this on shows where I've been doing this for years. I'm professional. The first thing I do is I'll go into the line, the script supervisor, and go, "Hey, just so you know, if I ever go up on a line somewhere, it's never being disrespectful to the writer or the other artist or yourself." I go, majority of the time I'll get like 90% of my dialogue correct. I go, but I'll still get the point across and what we're trying to hit for the scene and whatnot. Yeah. But like or I might add some things here or there subconsciously because it's that rhythm back and forth. It's kind of like comedy where you're feeling certain times whereas like if I need time to build on something emotionally, like I might add a little something or take something away so the rhythm and the energy is right. And I go, I know it sounds really weird. And I go, but it's never me going, yeah, I want to say it like this because this is what I'm doing. And the majority of the time people are really cool with it. But so there are certain shows where the writer is basically Shakespeare going, oh no, you did this on purpose, so like Deadwood, they wrote it in iambic pentameter, and going, oh no, you yeah, that's what I found out later on, that they actually wrote in iambic pentameter, so there's a certain rhythm for people's dialogue, and I'm like, what? That's amazing. I wasn't on the show, but yeah.
Now I want to see Deadwood.
Cool. Oh, you haven't seen it?
No.
Oh, dude, you gotta watch it. It's great. It's dynamite. Like the performance.
How many seasons?
I forget. It's been so long. What, 3? 3, something like that.
Deadwood?
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, it's like 2 or 3.
Oh my gosh. Now I'm really interested in seeing it. My show is Word Perfect. They have to it has to, but the thing is it's good.
Yes, 3.
It's 3. It's a good show. It's good writing. It's really good writing. Good. So what I love about that, 90% of the work is done for me.
Beautiful, man.
They already know how to write for my character so well that I'm like, oh cool, I know exactly what you're doing there. Like I know exactly what you want, and I know like, okay, cool. Like it's not stressful to me because there have been auditions where they're like, make sure it's Word Perfect, and I'm reading it, I'm like,
doesn't flow.
This is gonna be weird. Here we go.
Yeah. If it pulls me out of it, I'm like, guys, like I'm gonna switch it. Like,
but when you get like an Aaron Sorkin script, you're like, okay, cool, Word Perfect. I don't need to question it.
Yeah.
Cool.
No, I'm completely with you.
I did Newsroom, I think, right? Sorkin's Newsroom. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I auditioned for that a couple times, and I was like, oh, okay.
I got what you're going after.
Cool, and it's such good writing. And immediately when you read it too, you're like, what did I read recently that I think was a Sorkin thing? The murderer thing on Netflix talks about serial killers. Oh gosh. Mindhunter, yes.
I love we're saying things together at the same time.
Sisters.
Got it, guys.
Yeah, Mindhunter. That's Sorkin too, right? No, that's
I don't know.
No.
Double check. That's should know this.
I don't ever pay attention.
Yeah.
I
Fincher.
I was reading it, and I didn't really look closely at like the producers and the writers or whatever. And as I was reading, I'm like, man, this is Fincher. This sounds like really like Fincher.
Yeah.
And I kept reading. I was like, this really sounds like Fincher. And I look it up. I'm like, it's Fincher.
That's amazing.
I knew it.
That's so good.
And it's so cool when, like, you've been in this business long enough and you really respect the craft and you've read all these scripts, and then you can start like, oh, I know, I feel this writer coming off the script.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
so
yeah.
amazing to me.
It's a good feeling.
That a writer can do that.
Oh yeah, skills.
Chuck Palahniuk can do that too.
Absolutely agree with you on that one.
He's so good at describing things.
Oh, dude.
The way he describes things. Have you read Damned or Doomed?
No, but I'm actually reading Survivor right now.
Have you read Choked?
No, I haven't read.
Oh, Choked's a good one. I haven't read Survivor. I read Fight Club, of course.
Yeah, absolutely.
But Damned and Doomed are part 1 and part 2 of a girl who dies, and it's her journey through hell.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's so good.
Sold.
She's like 15 years old or something. It's amazing. It's so good.
I'm down. Let's do it right now. Let's do
All right,
it.
let's read. Okay, let's do it. Let's do it. There was something else I wanted to ask you. Talk about. I don't know. I just always excited to talk
I don't
about
know.
Derek.
This is a blast. Are you kidding me? I'm having a fun time.
Gosh dang it. What was it I was going to say? What were we talking about before this? Auditions, and then the stuff you're working on. So you just finished the pilot. That's right.
Yeah.
And then there's some stuff you can't talk about yet, right?
Yeah, there's a bunch of things that I can't talk about, which is crazy. What do I have coming out soon? I have a little part in the lead of Battle Angel.
Okay.
Rodriguez and James Cameron. That was super fun. Yeah, it's weird. It blurs after a while. I literally, like, when people say things, I literally look it up on IMDb going, oh, yeah, I did do that. Oh, cool.
So lucky, man.
Yeah,
so lucky.
What
do you do?
Not trying to brag at all.
You are bragging.
No,
and that's
no.
what this whole podcast is about.
No.
Derek bragging. No, okay. No, what do you do during the dry times then?
Make them wet with fun. No, sounds so weird. So weird. No, dude, it's that mentality of train and it will appear. So like, I try to do I ups and downs where I my normal thing is like if I'm not doing something, I kind of train for what I want to do, and then it's the weirdest thing because it will usually come to fruition. But just this recently, like last year, at one point I went through this kind of like, well, the political climate is kind of like all the other artists going through depression and going like, I don't know if it's actually depression, but I was like, what's the point? Why am I fighting for like ding dongs who aren't thinking and like want to murder each other? And so I kind of like stopped and it was like kind of like meh, and it was not healthy. So, but now I just started hopping back on it again, and I just booked a series where I'm like, oh, it's so freaking cool. Like, wait, what? Like, I trained for it, and then it arrived, and I went, I'm on what now? That's super cool. So that secret project I'm working on,
I can't wait to hear
it's
about
exciting, man. It's
Maybe off air.
It's crazy.
Maybe off air.
Yeah, maybe off air. I'll have our manager text it to you.
Steve Smith. Dude, I think it's important for actors to experience life.
Oh, for sure.
Before, it's okay to have dry times so that you grow as a person.
Mm-hmm. Like there's so many people who are actors who our job is to strive to capture humanity on film, but it blows me away how many of them, as soon as that camera turns off, they lose that humanity in general. And my number one advice to younger actors, like, hey, do you have any acting advice? I go, have as many just diverse experiences as possible, because you're going to use that for whatever it is you're going to come up. It just makes, as an artist, it gives you a bigger color palette to paint from.
Yes.
So like if you're going through something bad also, I use it on a positive spin going, I know what you just went through is bad, or you had a loss, or someone passed away. And I go, but remember that feeling, because that's adding to your arsenal for being a human, because it's a human experience for when you try to recapture humanity on camera. And I don't know, it's just my own little thing.
100% agree with you. And there's also an important thing of be in the moment of that experience.
Mm-hmm. Feel it. Let yourself feel it.
Yeah, feel it and learn to understand it more. Don't try to like numb it with outside things, because that's going to harm you in the long run. Even in the moment it might feel okay, but in the long run it's going to hurt you. I think it's so important to, what's helped me empathize with people more is understanding where they're coming from. So like Uta Hagen's 9 questions, like who are you? What are you? Like where are you? What's your core belief on life? A lot of times when you understand where a person's coming from, or what kind of home they grew up in, or what they're after, you start going, oh, that's why you're making these choices. Your intentions are good, like 90% of the time. Your intentions are actually good. It's just that they're just misguided, you know? Like, your perspective on it needs to be shifted. That's all it is.
Dude, absolutely. A book that changed my life, it's Marshall Rosenberg. It's called Nonviolent Communication, where it's not about violence, but it teaches you to listen and to speak in a non kind of combative way. So when you learn from the book is to listen to the subtext. So you're not trying to win the conversation, you're trying to understand. Like an example, my friend Paul Baisley, we did Pirates of the Caribbean together, part 4 or whatever. And when we were in the UK, he's like, "Hey man," he's like, "all the stuff that we've been talking about, like this book might help you." And he turned me on to this book, and he goes, "The best way to pitch it to you is," he goes, "I'll do what he did for me. Like, so say you and I, we saw him, our roommates, and I've asked you to clean the kitchen, and I come to the kitchen, and it's not, you cleaned it, but not the way that I wanted to. Like, it's kind of like half-assed." I'm like, "We saw, what are you doing?" I'm like, "Dude, I asked you to clean the kitchen. What are you, stupid? Like, why didn't you do it this way?" And by me saying that, you automatically get defensive and be like, "Well, you know what? F you, man. Like, I cleaned the kitchen because of your perception. You cleaned it, and I'm a crazy person going, I didn't do it." But what you learn to do is to go, "Hey, Wesam, you make it about yourself and not everybody else. So you're dealing with your own stuff. So, hey, Wesam, when I see the kitchen in disarray, it makes me feel, it drives up my anxiety, and I feel off center, and I feel really anxious because of it. In the future, could you help me out by cleaning it this certain way? Maybe put the salt shaker over here. That way I have it more, it makes me feel more calm and like not so stressed." And if someone else has made it nothing about you, it's like almost like asking like something that's out of reach for you to hand it to me and going, "That's no skin off your back. Why wouldn't you do that?" And so you learn when people are coming at you, or you're having any type of conversation. It could be business, it could be personal. If someone's like, "You did this," or "Hey, you," blah, blah, and they're angry, going, "Okay, this has nothing to do with me. Something has triggered this to you before, so that's what's hurting you right now. And I've become that representation of what you're angry about." So you learn to kind of socially maneuver to dissipate and go, "Hey, man, I'm an ally. Like, oh, you're dealing with what? Oh, man, that's horrible. How do I help you to figure out, that they get that sense of balance to get what you want, so you don't feel that way anymore?" And I tell you that the book is dynamite. This guy, when I read it, Marshall Rosenberg, he goes, "Look, I'm not Mensa smart." He goes, "I just kind of figured out this way to socially interact with people where, like, I cried at one part of the book where he actually brought, I think it was Darfur, if I'm remembering correctly, where a neighboring tribe attacked a different tribe. And at one point, this one girl, this sounds horrible, was tied up with her family, and she was raped in front of her family by this group of guys and like beaten. And what he did afterwards, a couple years afterwards, because of that trauma that happened, he sat down the attacker with her together and had them talk and have a conversation.
Whoa.
And the attacker was like, "Look, my mindset was like, on the radio, we were told that you were trying to take everything that was ours, the propaganda that wasn't real. I didn't see you as a human being. And I felt, I saw you guys as a plague trying to take what was it against my family and this. And so we had to fight back. And this is why we tried to do like a warning to stay away." And so to have her hear that, like, she opened up, and he kind of mediated between the two. And I'm in tears that the bravery of this woman to sit down and hear this out and have a communication with this guy. But it helped heal them. But she was saying that because she understood, it helped understand, like, oh, you had like abusive parents or whatever, and why they did what they did. And so now supposedly he's like brokered contracts with like between nations and this crazy stuff. Like, I don't know him personally. I just didn't know as a fan, and went like, I really like what you're doing, and it's helped me in my life when conflict has happened, to go, oh, I need to back out of this and like not. I always talk about the theory for my own personal theory, kind of like a camera theory, where if you're having a conversation or conflict with somebody, it's kind of like being two different football teams. If your POV is from the blue football team and your person you have a conflict is with the red football team, all you see is your POV. You don't get you have to back that camera out to a wider angle and go out in the crowd, take the crowd's perspective, so you can see the whole playing field and see both teams and see what you're doing that's causing, the red team to be, irritated, and also to kind of remove yourself from the situation so you can take a bigger perspective to kind of understand what's happening rather than just playing from your position and trying to win, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does.
I feel like I'm just gushing like an avalanche of words. Like,
No,
blah, 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 blah,
no,
blah.
no, not at all, man. You know, that is it. Gosh, the whole, you know, the rapist meeting with the person that he, you know,
Oh, yeah.
that I saw a TED talk about. There's a TED talk, you know that,
Oh,
right?
really?
Of a woman and her rapist. They go around doing these talks together.
Oh my God.
That is, dude. Initially, when I saw it, I was like, "What the heck? This is so weird that I had to click." Like, I've never.
Yeah.
There's I'm trying to find the right word. There's something going on in our time right now, where if somebody tweeted something years ago,
Yeah.
and you know they're living a different life now, all of a sudden people want to bring up this past tweet and basically crucify this person and not give them a second chance and basically demolish their life. This is insane.
Yeah.
This is I don't know where people are getting first off on this, or like where people are feeling like, oh, this is the right thing to do. I'm going to be a defender of what is right and what is wrong because I am perfect, and this person doesn't deserve a second chance. Dude, how many second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth chances have we all gotten in our lives? Yeah. And sometimes we've gotten second chances that we don't even know about.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna go off and like, this is one example of a baseball player who just signed with I don't know, some baseball team, and they start bringing up past tweets he did when he was younger. And they were like, you know, racist, awful tweets. It's like, okay, that's obviously not like that was he was tearfully apologetic, and people still were angry with him. It's like, dude, what do you want to do? You want to just kill him? You want to shoot him and kill him and throw him away? Is that the right thing to do? Like, where's the line drawn? Now, here's a really gray area. The director, what's his name? Michael, would you mind looking it up?
Who?
He was the director for. They just removed him. Disney removed him from the
James Gunn.
Yeah,
James Gunn.
Well, with that, you have to understand like where it also came from. It's these like right wing trolls named specifically Mike Cernovich and Posobiec or whatever.
Right.
They're basically like very active like Trump supporters, and they don't like James Gunn's like views on the president, so they basically dug all this up. Disney knew about them back in like 2012, and he had already apologized for them, and so but they dug it up, and in this current climate
As a weapon, yeah.
it's weaponized outrage basically.
I'm not saying what he tweeted was
no.
right or something I would
No, he won't either. Yeah.
But I'm employed by Disney, by the way, ABC parent company, you know. But okay. Well, I mean, now there's a gray area.
Yeah.
I'm being very diplomatic. I've said jokes between me and my friends that if other people heard about, they would not be pleased.
We all have. Yeah, it's human.
I'm sorry. If
It's
BS. If you say, I know there's certain people who don't joke around that. That's fine. But the majority of us, hey man, I know you've said things that would crucify you immediately. So now this guy is out of a job because of these people, and if it was the wrong thing to do, why wasn't he taken out at that time? That's a question I'm proposing. I'm not saying what was right or wrong, but it's a gray area.
Yep, I agree. I completely agree. Like it's if you want to make it more base, where it's like, oh, as a child, hey, that red part on the oven is hot. Don't touch that. You were gonna touch it eventually at one point. And go, oh, I learned. Oh, I'm not gonna do that anymore. That burned. Like, oh, I have a mentor who told me not to do that. Now I've learned. Now you've evolved. Continue. I'm not gonna do that anymore. And it's to me, it's a similar thing where it's like, I don't know what the extremities of what went down or what happened, but if someone does something like, it's our human spirit to go like, you get a second chance, man. Like if you acknowledge what you've done and you haven't done it since, okay, cool. Like that's what I always hope for any conflict that I have, is that like either I learn something or the other person learns something and go, oh, the reason that this horrible thing happened was so I could learn either not to do it again or them not to do it again and be, I don't know, man.
See, it's like, well, my empathetic way of looking at it is like, okay, is this person really sorry for what they're doing?
Absolutely.
Let's just say whatever they tweeted. Let's say it's a really horrible joke.
Yeah.
Right? Hopefully, I mean, I'm sure he doesn't condone actual. I think it was something to do with rape.
Pedophilia, rape.
Pedophilia, rape, right? Horrible joke
Horrible.
to tweet. He sincerely apologizes and really means it. Okay. All right, man. Make sure, please, don't do it again. And then he has a clean slate.
Yeah.
And then you're going to... And I don't know if he has. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
If he has a clean slate and then you fire him years later for it,
Yeah, that makes no sense.
Something internally doesn't feel right there. What's the correct thing to do? See, I hate when we go from one extreme to the other. Yeah. There's a middle path. You know what I mean? There's a middle path. The majority of us just want I don't know, man. This is getting political again. I hate when it gets that way. Because here's the thing, man. Majority of us just want to make sure that if we get sick, we're taken care of. Something serious.
Yeah.
We get a good education. And that if we're trying to like pursue a good education so that we get a good job, so that we're able to live decent lives.
Yeah.
Not saying we want to be super rich, but like, hey, I want to be able to afford certain things, have a good quality of life.
Take care of your family. You're safe.
Take care of my family, the safety, have a good tribe, a good community. That's what we want. Yeah. Clean air, clean environment, a nice place to live, a decent place to live. Like that's what majority of us wants.
That's honestly when anytime like political sides, whatever political side you believe in, if there's ever a political conversation that I have with people, strangers or friends or family, that's where I try to start. I go, okay, all this other stuff, like all the name calling and what you represent, I go, let's put that on the side, on a shelf right now for both of us. Let's find that common ground between you and I. You want to prosper. You want to make sure you're safe. You want to make sure your family's taken care of. You want to be creative. You want to grow. Cool. You want the same thing? Awesome. With that in mind, now let's build on that. So I'm not infringing on what you believe or whatever you want. Same thing with mine. Without hurting anybody, how do we move forward and evolve to find so you get the best, I get the best, because that's a possibility. Because right now, there was that little like piece of paper or a meme that came out recently, which has been around forever. That's what I should have said recently. That I saw recently, I should say, is where going back to the analogy of like apples and oranges or whatever. Like the rich people have like 10 apples, or the upper class has 10 apples. Middle class has 2 apples. Lower class has no apples. And the upper class goes, hey, middle class, that lower class is trying to take your apples. It's like, what? Are you kidding me? And so the lower class and the middle class fight each other, while the upper class has all the apples, and they keep taking the apples. And I'm not trying to say like if you work hard, like you should actually reap the results, but there's a point where we're people, man, and it's not natural to work so many freaking hours and multiple jobs to try to survive. Like we all have something to contribute. There's 7 different forms of intelligence. Like you have something to contribute to the world throughout your creation. Like I met a guy at a show doing an autograph signing who was kind of concave chest, and he's like, and he's kind of a meek stance, and he's like, oh, Mr. Mears, I don't do what you do. I go, wait a second, brother. Like, what do you do for a living? And he goes, I'm just a mechanic. And he was so bummed out, and I go, dude. And I go, I have no idea how to fix a car. Like, that's your art. That's your skill set. Right. And I go, my car breaks down. I go, no one's better than each other in society. We all have different skills, and we benefit each other. And I go, when my car breaks down, I come to you, and I'm a fan of you because you fix my car so I can continue my day. On the flip side, after you work your hard day, my job is to entertain you and tell stories. All I do is tell stories to let you know that it's going to be okay, and we work together. I go, so I'm a fan of you. And then I saw him like stand up straight, and he's like, I never really thought about that. I'm like, dude, brother, take value in what you do, but it drives me crazy. Like, I don't care if you're the caterer up to the main, producer or CEO of a company, where some of these guys have, it's like, I'm so-and-so, I'm worth $20 million, and I control this and that. Brother, like, I don't care. Like, what do you contribute to this? I go, that's your skill set? Like, I can grab you and choke you right now. Can your lawyers or your money stop me? No. That's a physical skill set. Right. And I go, so it all balances out. Like, don't get a high horse on what you do because it's not real. We're all people, man.
Preach.
Preaching. Sorry, yeah. People are like, oh, next. When's the next guest come on? Bring somebody who played Michael
real talk.
Myers. This guy's boring.
No, this is real talk, man. This is stuff that needs to be said, and a lot of people need to hear this. You know, it's you know what? I think it starts with the individual. That classic saying, "Be the change you want to see in the world."
Absolutely.
And I think it starts there because that's the thing you can control 100%.
Mm-hmm.
What you do in your life. How do you react to other people? A lot of times, if somebody's being rude to me, I'm like, you know what? All right, cool.
Yeah,
good luck on your journey, dude.
Yeah, you got stuff going on. Has nothing to do with me.
Best of luck. I love doing nice things for nice people. Not because I get a thank you from them or something, but I know that's going to help that person lead a better life, and in turn, maybe our overall community might get a little better.
Yeah, I talked to my fiance about this. I'm trying to figure out a line where, because some of the people, when they talk about doing good or trying to help people, there's like this altruistic, like almost like an extreme where like everything has to be white knighted and I'm like, oh no, and super holy and balanced. Like, man, like I can curse and like punch somebody in the face, but my default is like, I want to do good for people and be cool. But don't get me wrong, I always call it the Swayze Roadhouse technique where things go sour. Be nice until it's time not to be nice.
Oh.
So like I'm gonna be as nice as possible, but I'm also a human being, man. Like I will curse. Like we all have that yin and yang and that bad side. And when people go to extremes and go, "Oh, I don't do this," and I'm super pure, I go, "You're a liar." Because we are all constantly struggling, and it's like a balancing act. You're on a rope. Like you have to constantly work on it, because if you don't, you're gonna fall off on one side or the other side. And if you go too far on the positive side, it doesn't become real. Because I don't believe you going like, if you do like some like the like talking about the extremists in a sense, like whatever your religion or whatever you believe, as long as you're not hurting somebody, it's to me it's kind of all the same thing. But when people like some of these super evangelical like hyper Christians, like zealots in a sense, who are like, give me your money, oh I know the secret, give me this money, like you're taking advantage of all these people who want peace and happiness, and you're selling something. You're a snake oil salesman. That's not, if your intentions are good, great. You don't need $40 million for your private jet, for your crystal congregation, because God wants that.
Jesus doesn't fly in coach, apparently.
Yeah, it drives me crazy, man. Going, you're manipulating people, but I don't get mad at the people because they haven't had the proper like guidance or teachers to teach them otherwise. Because some of the stuff, like if you're taught like a certain way, if we grew up and I pointed the color orange, we saw them and go like, the entire life, everyone in your family that loves you, that's close to you, your friends, and that color orange are going, that's blue, man. You're going to fight to the death to go, that's blue. What are you talking about? If someone goes, that's orange. And the rest of the world goes, hey, man, that's orange. It's crazy because it's all about that programming. And I get mad because not what people believe, but how they've been manipulated or taken advantage of. And like I said, just to be clear, I'm talking about the extremist, not like like your average person who goes to their church and like and worships and their intentions are good. Fantastic, man. Like that makes me so happy. But that taking advantage of people, man.
Oh, I wish we can get one of those like mega church dudes in here.
Joel Osteen.
Here's the thing. Some great messages. I get it. And I get you're doing some great work at the same time, and I get that you're also oh my gosh, what's it called? Someone who invests in a lot of things.
Philanthropist.
Yes, I get that. Cool, but you're a man of God. Okay, so in my mind, there's a hierarchy that happens there. It's like God, the service, you making sure you're a good person, and helping other people. Right? Money shouldn't be anywhere close to that top, in my opinion. Especially if your religious beliefs and your dogma states that heaven is not in this lifetime; it's somewhere else. Okay, why you need a multi-million-dollar house?
Yeah.
Well, there's an interesting Bible passage that people constantly forget, which is the saying that it's easier for a camel to get through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to get into heaven.
Yes, I'm very familiar with this. So this is something you know what? Listen,
it's like they don't actually believe it, and they just use it.
See, I get it, man. Joel Osteen, he has some great messages. He helps people. That's wonderful. I think that's great.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure,
Sincerely, that's great.
Awesome. But again, a red flag gets raised for me whenever we see pictures of your home. Imagine if you lived in a home a quarter of the size of that one. A quarter. How much people you could help out with the other money that you're getting.
Yep.
So
huge.
So wouldn't that be better? Than that
During the
POS, that guy who talks about, oh, I need another jet. I need another jet that flies further because to spread the word of God. It's like, really? Like it drives me up a wall when people use God and religion to just manipulate people, like you said, who are not either that educated or who are easily misled. It's like, oh, dude, you're the worst. You're the worst. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, we were hitting all the topics, all the no-nos, like politics, religion, what else? Social media controversies. Like, what else? But this is all in one. This is jam-packed.
It's your fault, Derek.
Cut to, what do you mean my career's over? Like,
Steve's like, you got fired, Derek.
Watch. Our manager calls it, oh, man, great podcast, guys. Good news, bad news. Podcast numbers. People, you helped a lot of people. Great. Remember those jobs you guys had? Yeah. Well, we're gonna redo those. Like,
you know what? It is what it is. And
if
again,
so be it.
No, I don't honestly don't think, even with the whole Disney thing, I just was proposing questions, obviously.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
And there's a gray area. I mean, you can't argue with that.
Yeah.
Like, it's weird because now in this day and age, people just want to jump on and anything. Yeah. I've had that happen before a couple times on Twitter. There was a comedian. His name is Tom Segura. Mm-hmm. Have you? Mm-hmm. Okay. You know, some of his jokes, some people find offensive or whatever. And the thing is, I'm all about free speech. If you find something offensive, okay, switch the channel. Yeah. Don't follow that person. Yeah. That's what it is. If they're not like promoting killing someone in front of you,
you went to their page.
Yeah. Right, yeah, exactly. If it's a joke that's a little crass or whatever, it's like, dude, whatever. Dude, these scabs are coming off from from the guy's night. But like, dude, I retweeted something that he tweeted, and oh boy. I retweeted with the comment, "This is probably one of the funniest tweets ever." And some person was like, "This is not a funny tweet. You know, how dare you support this kind of humor or support this kind of action?" And it's like, where do I start with this guy? How do I even respond? Do I respond?
Yeah, I would not. I just let them do whatever they want to do.
Me with a gif going like this, ha 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 ha. I don't know.
Some people like sushi. Some people don't like sushi. That's just the way it is.
Oh, sushi sounds so good. I'm gonna get some sushi tonight. Done. Sold me.
I love it, man. This has been like a roller coaster. We've gotten like super high. It's like the heady, like, oh, real existential. Like, yeah, really, that's beautiful. We got the base of like you guys shocking each other with tasers. Yeah. Like, guys, it's like a Rick and Morty show. We have a little bit of everything.
Sam's World. I mean, look what's coming out of my head, bro.
Well, I didn't even look at that coming in. That's the coolest.
That's me.
I like that. Oh, you're
Shout out to Alexandra Gorski for some amazing artwork. Yeah, I'm Wesam.
I'm a fan of Alexandra. Looks great.
Yeah, man. Dude, you're so cool.
Dude, you are, dude. Are you kidding me? Thanks for doing this podcast in general and the intention of helping people. That's right. That's when you're like, hey, will you come on? I'm like, yeah. When?
Dude,
let's do it.
I just hope people are, again, entertained, enlightened. I love bringing on cool people like yourself to show your perspective on the world. That's the whole purpose of this, you know, to share these amazing conversations that I have with people. Right. And that's the stuff I love to do, like talk about this stuff because I think it's important. Podcasts have helped me tremendously. Joe Rogan podcast, for instance. The people he's had on, dude.
Yep.
Totally different person now.
Learned a lot.
For the better.
Learned a lot.
Two things.
Go ahead.
Next time I have my guys' night, it's actually guys' night fight night, which is at my place. I haven't done it in a while, but if it's a UFC fight, I invite a bunch of guys over, and we bring
tasers.
We bring tasers, just tasers. Clothing optional. I'm just kidding. You're like, okay, this got weird.
It's Hollywood.
It's fine, but it's not my style. No, I gotta invite you to that next one if you're around.
I would love to.
Dude, if you go to that jiu-jitsu class, I would love to take a class with you just to kind of.
Oh, I haven't been on the mat because I learned also like I train MMA and like prep fighters and like I was up with like you know. I always say as a hobbyist because like some of the guys who are like legit getting into it, I would come home with split black eyes, like swollen clothes, and my wife at the time was like, "Derek, you know you're a professional actor. You make you're living with your face. I'm like, yeah, man, so cool. Like, I tried to undercook, but I missed, and I caught a knee on the right side, but then I caught an elbow on the left. So, yeah, it's pretty good. You know, it's a lot of fun. It's so stupid.
Oh my gosh.
So I've backed off a lot.
All right,
I'll do bag. I'm not doing Muay Thai now and doing like bag work because I have to be careful. Because I realize also when you're doing that extreme, if you get hurt, you don't work.
Yeah.
And I can't take care of my family. So I'm like, all right, let's back off a little bit. I love doing it.
That's fair. That's fair. See, that's what I'm hoping, you know, I could get hooked up with a good class or at least a good kind of like once a month session with them or something, a couple times a month, just where I'm like safe. So I'm like, okay, guys, I'm working on it.
God, just not hurt me here, please.
Derek, thanks again, brother.
This has been a blast, guys. Sincerely, thank you so much for having me on.
Of course.
And like, I feel like I've had like some mental and spiritual nutrition, not just like a Twinkie, but like a Thanksgiving dinner. So I'm like, oh, I feel good.
Oh, I take that, man.
So thanks, man. This is
Dude,
great.
Anytime. Michael, we're out. Hey, everybody. Thanks for listening. Big thank you to Adobe Radio for all that you do here. We really appreciate it. Thank you to Nice Guy Digital for everything. Hey, thank you, Michael. Love hanging out with you, man. Having these good talks.
Good talk.
Smoking crack. We're not smoking crack. It was a joke. That's the theme. That's the theme.
Careful with that.
Hey, thank you to you guys for listening to the show. Seriously, much love. Thanks for Derek for coming on. And if you subscribe to the show, you know, send us a screenshot, tweet at us, Instagram. We'd love to see it. We'll tweet at you back. We'll respond. Thanks to Steph, Jula, the social media ruler. All right, guys, we out.